Hello everyone, it's Gemma the Inspired Stamper here. Thank you for joining me today. I do hope everyone's keeping well at the moment and that everyone is safe and healthy at this moment in time. It's a bit strange times going on, so I thought I'd do a nice box project for you, and this is what I'm calling my Easter egg all box. Now it was probably the Christmas before actually that Sam Clayton Mixed Up Crafts did her orb decoration box for Christmas, and so I've sort of adapted that. I saw some other Christmas orb type boxes as well, and I've sort of mishmashed the measurements together to give myself like an Easter egg box style, because I was looking at the pictures on Pinterest and I thought, well, I think I can make that look like an Easter egg, and especially at this time it's gonna be difficult for people to get out over Easter. So I thought, if you're a crafty person and you have a few treats, you can make some for your kids, or you could make some for your neighbours and just go and leave them on their doorstep, just as a little nice hello and a little treat. So today I'm going to show you how to make the small one. I will put the measurements on for the bigger one. You'll see this one is double the size of this one, but these little ones are fantastic because they only need half a sheet of cardstock. So you can get two from one sheet. So if you were planning on doing some for the children over Easter, so because these are great because you can hang these in the garden, hang them all around, and they can do like an Easter egg hunt. You can put your treats inside for them. So that's one idea. And these ones, again, these take one whole sheet of cardstock. So it's up to you whichever one you want to do, or it depends on the size of your treats. This is quite big, you can fit quite a lot inside. But this one here, I'll just give you a quick recap on what I used. I used the beautiful poppy dies to make my flower on the front. And I've used some of the designer series paper as well, and this is in Blackberry Bliss. So I'm going to move straight on and tell you how to make it. I have got half a sheet of Blackberry Bliss here. I'm going to use that colour again because it's one of my favourites. And then here I have got a couple of sheets, just a couple of strips of designer series paper, the poppy one again. And for this little one, I'm just going to decorate it really quite simply. I'm going to make a bow with my envelope punch board, and I will show you how to do that as well. So let me get my scoreboard in. Now, as I said, this is half a sheet of designer series paper, cardstock even, sorry, half a sheet of cardstock. And as I said, it is Blackberry Bliss. I might get my words out in a minute. There we go. So this is 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. So but I'm going to start on the 8 1/4 inch side, and I'm simply going to go and score every 1 inch. So 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches, and 8 inches. Now this does leave you with quite a tiny strip to attach your box together, but as you can see, it works quite nicely still. So then I'm going to turn this around, and we're going to have our 5 3/4 inch side at the top, and then I'm going to score at 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and then I'm going to turn it around. So I've got the scoring I've just completed to the right hand side, and then I'm going to score it at 1 inch. There we go. If you wish to leave it around this way, so you can do your 1 inch, 2 inch and 3 inch score lines, you're going to score at 4 3/4. But I just find it so much easier to flip it round and do another inch. It's just one less measurement to try and remember when you're doing this, because there's quite a bit of scoring. So the other thing you need to do is we need to put in some extra score lines to help us put in our diagonal score lines for our box, okay? So these are going to go across the top, and we are going to score at 1.5 inches, but we're only going to score down to this first score line here. Okay, so 1.5 inches, 3.5 inches, 5.5 inches, and 7.5 inches. Okay, and then you're going to take your card and you're going to turn it over. So you've got the bottom 3 squares at the top, and we're going to repeat that again. Just down to this first score line here, 1.5 inches, 3.5 inches, 5.5 inches, and 7.5 inches. Okay, so when we're done, this is what we're left with. Now it looks like lots and lots of score lines, but it will all become clear as we start putting even more score lines in. And once we start cutting some bits out, you'll be able to see a bit clearer as well. So now what we need to do is these score lines here, we need to join these up with the next score line down. So first of all, we're going to work in these bigger rectangles here, and it's every other one. So I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to score from the midpoint here down to the corner there. And again, there to there. Let's see if I can get you to come in a bit. So from the score line in the middle out to the corner one. And we're going to do that every other large rectangle where our extra score line is that we've added in across the top. Okay, so then we have, just tilt that up, there we go, you can see we've got the extra score lines in the diagonal ones. Now I'm going to turn my piece of card round again. So now I've got the 3 squares here, and then what we need to do in these squares, every other one, we're going to go in and make the same diagonal score lines. So I'm going to put my ruler on, line up and make my score line, my diagonal score line in each box. And then you're just going to work along. There we go. So there we go, you can see I've got all the diagonal score lines in. Okay, so let's turn that around the right way. Let's zoom back out. I'll try and do this without wobbling anything. There we go. So now we've got all our score lines in that we need to do. Now we need to do some cutting. Okay. So I'm going to take my scissors. This score line's all the way across our little squares here. We are going to cut up each of those score lines up to the first score line here. So I'm going to ignore that middle score line, the extra one, and we're just going to cut all of these up to the first score line. Like so. There we go. So we've got all of those cut. Then we're going to turn it around and we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other end. We're going to cut every single score line across up to our first score line. There we go, like so. And then what we're going to do is we are going to cut off every single square that has got the extra score line in it. And we're also going to cut this little rectangle off at the end. But we're going to go straight across to there. And then the easiest thing to do to get to the next one is fold in your solid square and then snip and take that one off. And again, fold down and remove the one with the extra score line in it. There we go. So then you are left with that on one side. Then you're going to do exactly the same around this side as well. I'm going to fold in my solid square out the way and then chop off the one with my score line in it. And then I'm going to come all the way across here because I'm going to take my little rectangle as well. Okay. Just neaten that up a little bit. So there we go. We have now got that shape. So that is what you want to be left with. Okay, so we've got our little tab here at the end. So now we can go along and give our straight score lines a fold and a burnish. Okay, and we're going to fold on every single one. There we go, and then we can do our longer score lines. You shouldn't need to fold and burnish your little tabs because you've already folded them over when you were cutting the pieces out. There we go. So there we go, you've got something like that. And then these diagonal score lines, you can very carefully just manipulate them ever so slightly to start giving them a bit of bend and a bit of give. And that will help. It doesn't matter which way you do them. It's probably easier to fold them out towards you to start with, even though they're going to face inwards on the box. But just to get them going with a bit of a crease. There we go. And again, we can work our way across. And you just want to do this with your hands. You don't want to be using your bone folder or anything yet on those. There we go. Right, now we're going to need to put some holes in the top tabs to thread our ribbons through. There we go. So very roughly just give those a fold. So now the section with our larger rectangle with the small boxes above, that's the top of our box. So these tabs here all need a hole punched in them. Now you can, if you wish, take your ruler, and believe it or not, I can't find a pencil now. Ah, there it is. There's my pencil. So you can take your ruler and your pencil and just line up corner to corner and make a mark. So that will find the centre. You can tilt that towards the light. There we go. And then you can line up your hole punch and go for it in the middle. Okay, and then you can bend that over using those diagonal score lines to help you. You can then go along and so all your holes are in the same place. Okay, a little bit fiddly. It just means they're all nice and lined up. If they're a little bit off, don't worry too much. It's not going to hurt. So in this one, we can actually push that down there. There we go. So now our top tabs have all got some holes in. and that's for us to thread our ribbon into. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put our box together. Okay, so as I said, this is a very small tab, so if you've got some tear tape or the red backed tape, which is really super strong, I would recommend using some of that. I am going to be using some Tombow because that is my glue of choice. I'm just going to run some all the way down the tab there, and then I should be able to fold that over on itself nice and flat, so I can give that a good crease down. Make sure that's nicely stuck. There we go. And then you can also do it like that. There we go. You'll see that is nicely stuck down. So to put the bottom of the box together, I'm going to push these tabs in on themselves, and then I'm going to turn it upside down. Okay, so now we want to bring these tabs together over the top of each other to glue them in together. Right, so I would suggest you find the seam of your box and make that the back. So there we go, there's the seam of my box, so that is going to be the back. Okay, so I'm going to first of all start by bringing my two sides together. Okay, and then all I'm going to do now on these score lines is push inwards like so. I'm just going to work my way around the box, pushing them inwards now. Okay, it'll just help you when you come to put your glue on. Again, we need to use some nice strong adhesive when doing this box, so I would recommend Tombow wet glue, but if you've got some super strong tape, that should do the trick as well. Okay, so there's the back. So I'm going to start with my two sides, so I'm going to push one down. Okay, let's see if I can just adjust this and come in a bit. Oh, are you coming in? Oh. I don't often adjust my phone. No, not going to zoom in for me. Okay, so there we go. We're going to put some glue on this tab here, and we're going to take this tab here and we're going to lay it right on top, and we're going to push it together so our tabs totally cover each other. Okay, let's move that down so it's going in and out of focus a little bit. I'm just going to hold on to that until that's stuck. Okay, hold that still for a second. So yeah, you want to make sure, it doesn't matter if you bend it out of shape for a minute, because it will come together as we glue the other two tabs together. And then once I've got that, there we go, I'm going to put some glue on top of here. I'm going to take the back tab and I'm going to push that one forward, push it over the top again and cover it completely. Okay, you need to hold on for a few seconds just while the glue takes. So again, you'll see I'm covering that completely. And then our last tab, I'm going to put some glue on there. And I'm going to bring this one over the top as well. And this is when our box will get its shape completely. So it's easier to have it flat on the table. That's why I said to fold in the other tabs. And then you can sort of use the bottom of the box to hold on to, so you can just hold it in place while the glue takes. Obviously, if you're using the super strong tape, it will stick instantly. But I'm using the wet adhesive, which I prefer. There we go. So hopefully that will be holding. Now I can turn it over I'm going to unfold these tabs, and I'm just going to take my bone folder and give it a push down on the inside. There we go. I don't know if you're going to be able to see inside because it's really dark. I can show you on the white one. Just undo the ribbon on this one. You'll be left. There we go. Oh, you can. That's what it'll be looking like on the inside. Okay. Let's pop that out of the way. Let's have a quick drink. Right, there we go. So now we can put our ribbon on to hold our treat box closed. So I've got some of the red, which one is this? Mixed satin ribbon. This one I grabbed it off of the clearance rack, so it's not in the main catalogue, but it's red, and I thought it looked quite nice on this box with the poppy paper. So there we go. So I've just got to length the ribbon. This is probably a bit long in fairness, but we can trim that off in a minute. I think this one, yeah, so we probably want about 6 inches. I mean, I've got a bit too much, but roughly 6 inches of ribbon should be fine. And I'm very sorry if you can hear my son in the background. He's meant to be being quiet. But as you can imagine, it is strange times at the moment, so we're all trying to get on. There we go. So I'm going to just fold them two together, and I've poked it through the hole. And then I'm going to get some glue dots on here. And I'm just going to put one either side. I can't find my pokey tool. I don't know where it's gone. Right, so I'm just going to put one there. And one on the other side. Stick one side of ribbon there and the other there. Okay, and I'm going to pull that through. Right, let's tidy this up a little bit. Obviously you'll have more time to tidy yours up as well, and you can also pop, you can also, if you wish to, pop a bit of card over the top. Going to cut a square of card. You can also, if you wish to, cut another inch of card and pop that over the top, or you could use one of your folded pieces, one of your bits that you cut off, if the score line on there doesn't bother you too much. Just saves on cutting another piece of card up, really, doesn't it? And let's pop some glue on there, and I'm just going to trim around this a little bit to neaten up that side. There we go. Just put some more glue on, and then we're just going to pop that over the top. Oh, come here. Right, let's get it lined up and straight. There we go. Right, I'm going to give that a really good squish. Squish, squish, squish. Okay, and there we go. We've got our ribbon in there. So I'm going to leave that for just a minute while that dries. Okay, so let's do a little bit of decoration. So as I said, I've got a couple of strips of the designer series paper, the poppy one, and I've got a long strip here. This measures 3/4 of an inch by 9 inches, and I am literally gonna just wrap this all the way around the box, from the front, from the back to the front. So I'm just gonna roughly fold it in half, make a tiny little mark just so I can see. So the side where you've put your ribbon in, that's become the side of your box. So this is the back, this is the front. Okay, so I'm going to pop a bit of glue on the back square, and I'm going to stick on my paper. So upside down, there we go. So just roughly in the middle. Let's stick that on there. Now you can decorate these in any which way you would like to. You can stamp them first, like I did with the small one with the tulips. That's quite pretty. And then I'm just going to run some glue around and stick this down. Just going to follow the shape of the box. So just one bit at a time. Round we go. That's that side. Let's come around here and do some of this side. There we go. I'm just going to put my hand inside just to get that a squish. There we go. Oh, let's make sure we're actually holding it properly. We might need to snip a bit off, but I just wanted to make sure this was going to go all the way around the box. Okay, so our last front square, and this one needs some glue. Let's put a bit extra there. And we'll just pinch that down and there we go. Oh, look at that. That fits absolutely perfectly. I didn't know whether it would or not at 9 inches, but yes, you want 9-inch long strip of designer series paper, and then you can just put a bit of glue on there and push that down. Well, that was a bit of genius, wasn't it? There we go. Very lucky, more like jammy. So there we go. We've got our designer series paper all the way around the outside. Right, now I'm going to grab my envelope punch board, which is retired from Stampin' Up now, but I have a We Are Memory Keepers one, and it's great just to make a little decoration for a box like this. So I have got a piece of the same DSP, the poppy one, and this measures 1 inch by 7 1/8 of an inch. So to make a bow, I am going to put it in, and my first punch is going to be at 1.5 inches, and then my second one is at 3.5, and then I'm going to turn it around and flip it over, so we're still punching on this top end, and I'm going to punch up 1.5 again. Then we need to turn it around and repeat on the other side, so 1.5 and 3.5, and again I'm going to flip it over and up 1.5. Now these ends here, I'm just going to take that on, I'm just going to roughly eyeball the middle. Okay, I'm going to punch, and I'm going to do the same on this end. There we go. So if I get rid of that out of the way, we are now left with something that looks like this. So I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to carefully just round this over, because these middle sections we are going to fold them together, and then this section here is going to come out. Okay, it's going to fold back on itself like so. So let me give this a bit of a curl. So as I said, we're going to fold these in on themselves, so let's fold the end outwards, just give that a little pinch. So you've got your two pieces in that shape, your two ends folded back in that shape now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take these two to meet together in the middle. So if you got that shape, that's a bit wonky, there we go, and then turn it over, we can put some glue in the middle. There we go. maybe a little bit more. There we go. And then we're going to take these two pieces, two ends, we're going to meet them, push them together and push down. And I'm just going to hold that there for a minute. And then when we turn it over, we've got our little bow. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a gem on mine in the middle. You can either get a piece, another little tiny strip of paper and make a middle. But I've got another one of these faceted gems, and I've got one that's coloured in black with my black alcohol pen. That's all I did on this one for the middle of the poppy. I coloured one of the gems in with a black alcohol marker. So I think I'm going to do the same in the middle, but I'm going to add that on in a minute. Because the first thing I'm going to do is close my box now, because this will be nice and dry where we've stuck our ribbon in. So again, we're going to follow the same principle for the top as the bottom. But this is going to be the closure. So work your way around, pushing your score lines in. To start bringing the top of your box together. This is also when you want to put your treats in, put your eggs in. So, I'll put some here. Let's put some in our box. I bought these before the before recent events, so I didn't have to worry about trying to find some eggs. So you've got your nice treats inside. And then I'm going to push this one down, and now I'm going to start threading this ribbon, end of this ribbon through the holes. So I'm going to go from the outside, the inside, sorry, outwards. So I'm going to pull that one across there, and then I'm going to pull this over the top, like so. And then I'm going to go to the back. Again, we're going to pop that from the inside outwards. And we're going to bring that one in and pull that there. Pull that closed, and then I'm going to do the front one. Then we can hold it closed and give our ribbon a really good pull to make it all line up nicely. So there's the last one. Now I'm going to squeeze that with my hand, and I'm going to give that ribbon a good tug. So there we go, you see now that holds shut nicely. I'm just going to give that a bit more of a squish and a pull. Okay, so it all lines up nicely. Obviously having the treats inside, these little eggs are quite heavy, so it is pulling the top a little bit. But you still get the same effect. Then I can get my bow that I've made, and I can put some glue on the back, and then I'm just going to push that onto the center there. Oh, I really like it with the bow actually. I haven't tried one of these. I'm going to hold that there for a second, and then I'm going to take my gem. I've coloured my faceted dot. These are self-adhesive as well, so these are brilliant. And I'm going to pop that on the middle. Just like that. Wow. There we go. So that is our little bow on the front. And that is our little treat egg. Our little gift box all ready to go. There we go. So as always, all the measurements for this project will be on my blog. And I'll put a link to that in the description box below. As always, I will list all the supplies, and you can then click the link and shop for your own. With a few days of celebration left, and we've put some extra items on the third release. It's a few of the items from the annual catalogue are on there. So there's a few different designer series paper. I know the woven threads and Dino Days ones are definitely on there. I can remember that. But obviously I'll pop some more information on about that as well. Also at the moment, all my ladies that are missing out on card classes at the craft shed, a big hello to all of you. I hope you're doing all well, and I hope that we can get back to normal as soon as possible. And as I said, I hope to see you as soon as we can. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.